morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and today's shout-out goes to BoxChamp. BoxChamp was first to say first in one of my recent videos, and thus one's this shout-out, so congratulations. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I have a review of this. Is actually a pretty neat airplane. Some ingenious design features have been included on this plane. Let's go over them first. This is the T720 4-channel brushless RC airplane. It's designed for beginners, intended for beginner flyers, and it's a 4-channel plane. I would recommend this for intermediate flyers, actually. Beginners, I always recommend they start with either 2 or 3-channel plane, and then transition to 4-channel planes with aileron control. But let's go over real quick what we're talking about here. What's so special about it is, again, it is a brushless motor airplane, but if you notice, there is no pushrods on this airplane. There are no pitch horns on this airplane. So how do we control the control surfaces on this plane? Well, it's pretty cool. This one here for the wings, it has these little levers that slide into the sides of the aileron of the wing and pushes the ailerons up or down. And along with, there's something similar on the back here for the elevator, which pushes the elevator up or down. And along the rudder, also has something interior here for controlling its up or down or right or left movement. Now, another thing what's neat about this is it comes like this, completely disassembled, but it goes, I swear it goes together in less than a minute. You can pop this thing together. Well, close to a minute, let's say that. But it's very simple to assemble. The only thing I did not like, the manual did not cover how to assemble the propeller. Okay, very easy to mess up that. Keep in mind that this is a pusher propeller, and the front end of the propeller is on this side. So when you install the propeller, you know, the tapered front end like this. Let's bring it up closer so you can see that. Make sure it's on this side of the propeller, not on that side, or else you won't get as good propeller efficiency for controlling this aircraft. It spins this direction here, and it's supposed to chop into the air in this direction like that. Okay, let's go over what you get in the box. You get 2 wings, 2 horizontal stabilizers. You get the main fuselage, you get the instruction manual, which is relatively good instruction manual. It goes over most things except, again, how to assemble the propeller. Now, when you assemble the propeller, let's go over that. You put it on, you slide it on, and then you put this nose cone over the top of the propeller, and then you put a screw into it, and it's very simple. There is one part that's left over. This is not... doesn't apply to this aircraft, so you can just put it aside. It's not needed, that particular part there. But you do get the screwdriver for assembling the propeller. Additionally, in the box, you get a battery charger, 2S battery charger, that's charged through a micro USB port, and a 300 milliamp hour 7.4 volt 2S battery with red JST connectors. You should be able to find very similar batteries to be able to power this. You know, this is not a really different special battery. Let's pop the top off to show you where that battery goes. The battery comes with Velcro already installed on it, and that Velcro goes right on that little pad there, and then you can plug the battery in and close up the door like such. This goes in there like that, and it pops down into place like that. And again, you get the 2 wings, and you get the controller. So let's show how to assemble this thing. It's pretty neat. Taking a look at this right here. Remember this little lever? That has to slide into this little slot in the aileron, on the edge of the aileron. So in effect, you just slide this in like such, and make sure that that little lever arm slides into that little slot on the aileron. You do the same with the other wing on the other side, lining up that little slot with that little lever arm there before you push it all the way in. And then when you get it in like such, you push it in until it clicks in place. It's held in place like that. Similarly, the let's see, there we go. The horizontal stabilizer goes the right side. Just push it in on that, and make sure it has a little dot or a little protrusion right there, but it's got to go in the hole of this little bar there. And you push it in like so. You line that hole up with it, and similarly you do it with the right horizontal stabilizer. And then again, you make sure those holes are lined up, and you click them both in place like so. And make sure, give them a little up and down, make sure that they're working properly, and that's it. They are connected. Now, I believe I got to snap these two in place too. Bring the back all the way together like such, and it is fully assembled. See how that was? See how easy that was to click it together and put it together? I swear, less than a minute, you have this assembled. Okay, let's talk about this aircraft. It's 4-channel again with brushless motor, but it is also gyro stabilized. Actually, you can't turn off the gyro stabilization of this aircraft. It comes either fully stabilized, which through the controller, they call that normal mode, or you put it in sport mode and it becomes partially stabilized. What I mean is, if any of you flown racers out there, it has a horizon mode, okay? So when you go into sport mode, actually in normal mode, there's a maximum pitch angle that this aircraft will never exceed, and there's also a maximum roll angle that this aircraft will never exceed. However, it is fully stabilized, so you let go of the sticks and it will automatically level itself using the gyro stabilizers to control the control surfaces to bring it to level flight. Similarly, when you put it in sport mode, it's also, you slide this button here on the controller to the right. It's also gyro stabilized, so that if you let go of the sticks, it will always bring itself to level flight. However, it turns off those maximum pitch angle and maximum bank angles so that it will let you do a roll. Okay, so there is no restriction on angles anymore. Again, you can do a roll and you can do loops. So it's very similar to, like I said, horizon mode on FPV racers, where it's still stabilized, but it allows you to do flips, in effect. So, other things about it, this controller also has a trick button on the right. So when you're flying it, all you got to do is press this button and it does a trick. I believe it does a loop. We'll find out when we go out and fly it. But while I was holding it in my hand here, pressing this down and holding it down, the motor goes into high speed, and I'm assuming it is going to go and try to do a loop. Okay, so we talked about no push rods. Let's fire it up just to show you its stabilization system. I'll put the battery there. I'll plug in this battery. And always, there's only one way to install these batteries, but I always like to double check to make sure red to red and black to black, so I do not have a chance of, and also I should have turned this controller on first before doing such, folks. Always do that, especially with hobby grades. You turn the controller on first and then the drone. And see, I'm getting a blinking light, and that's because I did not do that in a proper sequence. So we're going to turn this off and turn this on again. Get a blinking light there, and again, plugging in the battery. And we should have it binding, and it doesn't. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not binding, so hold on, folks. Okay, I found the problem. Make sure you are in normal mode when you turn on this transmitter. Do not be on sport mode, or this will not bind. This only binds in normal mode, and I think the reason being they want you to do the takeoff in normal mode with this aircraft, and then once you're in the air you can switch to sport mode. So again, always be in normal mode when you turn on this transmitter to bind the aircraft. Okay, I'm in normal mode, and I got the light on there, and I'm plugging in the battery, and we should be bound. So let's see here. Yep, there we go. I got the control surfaces working, so we are bound. Now let me show you, go over these control surfaces real quick. Let me put the battery in. And I'm not going to plug it up right now, but we are in normal mode. So let me give it a little throttle here to activate the stabilization system. But if you notice, as we bank to the left, the control surfaces counter that by trying to bank to the right. And if we bank to the right, the control surfaces automatically move to try to level the airplane like such. Similarly, the tail surface, or the horizontal stabilizer elevator actually, will tilt upward. Let me see if I can show you that on the view here. Tilt upward when tilting down, and if tilting down, it should go the other direction to try to level the aircraft. So that's the stabilization system. The rudder is it works the same way. If you tilt left or right, it counterbalances the aircraft, or counter turns to try to level the aircraft at all instances while in normal mode. Now, if I give it full deflection, like such here, let's put it there on the ground or on the deck like that, and we have our full deflection. If I go into sport mode, watch what happens to the ailerons. Okay, I'm in sport mode and they become less. Okay, in normal mode, they're max deflection, and in sport mode, they're less deflection. Now, you'd think it would be the other way around, but it's not. Okay, so in normal mode, it has extreme deflections to try to keep the aircraft level, but if you go into sport mode, they become less extreme here. I guess for smoother flight is the idea in sport mode, even though, but again, the let's see here if I can show that to you. Let me go into normal mode, give it full deflection, and then see how when I roll it, it's trying to center again. I got full deflection on the stick, but as I roll it, notice how it automatically counters that and won't let me go farther than that amount of roll on the control surfaces on the aileron. Notice that. Now, if I put it into sport mode like such, and give a full deflection, it don't care. Okay, it stays in that position there at full deflection. But if I let go of the stick, it will try to counter that and bring it back. Well, bring it back gently. Okay, it's very. It's not the same type of stabilization as normal. It's more of a balancing stabilization, especially for wind. You know, if it gets buffeted by wind, it'll gently try to bring it back to level flight, but it'll be rather slow as compared to normal mode, which will try to bring it back immediately. So, much more gentle stabilization in sport mode, but not entirely off, in other words. So that's the aircraft. That's the stabilization system on this aircraft. Let's take this out into the field and fly it. So hope you enjoy this flight. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and we are out at one of my favorite flying fields here for the flight of the T720. Now, it's a little bit breezy today. I'm saying the wind's about 6 to 7 miles per hour. We'll see how this flies. Since this is stabilized, it shouldn't have any problem really, but we'll find out. So, I already have this bound, checking the control surfaces. Control surfaces are working. Right turn, left turn, down, up, and left, right rudder, and throttle. We're all good to go. Okay, the wind is coming from my back here, actually toward the sun there. So we're going to have to launch it into the sun, and then I'm going to have to turn it. So let's see here, making sure I am in normal mode for launch. And throttle, and away we go. Oh my gosh, it takes off nicely. In the wind. Okay, let's turn it. See how it does going downwind. Coming down lower. I barely have any throttle on this at all. It is a really nice glider, folks. Look at that. I got about 5–10% throttle. It doesn't want to come down. It's just almost motionless in the wind here. Nice beginner's plane, folks. This is really, really nice. Look at that. Will it make it to me here? A little more throttle. Try to go into the wind. That's pretty cool. I wanted to show you something. On the bottom of this, I didn't show it to you before, but on the bottom, we do have a plastic skid plate here to protect the foam. Okay, that is nice. I like to see that on these gliders, especially on this little pusher glider. Okay, let's get it back in the air again, folks. Oh, it just takes right to the air. This is a nice beginner's plane. Turning to the right. Nice and stabilized. Give it a little more throttle to go up and a little more elevator too. Coming around. Okay, going upwind. Let's press this trick button. Did you see that, folks? Let's bring it down again. Down a little lower to show that to you. Press the trick button. Neat plane. Do it again. So, to do a loop, all you do is press that button and hold it down. Let's see, let's bring it down low and do it. I should be able to do it low. It just doesn't want to come down. It's just hovering there in this wind. Going down when it'll come down. Coming around, coming around. This is a nice trainer, folks. I actually think beginners could fly this thing. I know beginners could fly this. It's easy to fly. Let's bring it a little closer, a little more throttle. Do that again, press the button. I like this plane. Okay, let's take it over into the grassy field. I think I could fly it over there easily. Coming around, coming around. Let's go into this normal mode, or stunt mode. Oh, that stunt mode's nice too. This is a wonderful flyer, folks. Roll and stunt. Coming around. Back to stabilized. You get into trouble, go back to stabilized. Let's go over to this field, the grass field. I should be easily able to fly it. This is make a nice park flyer, folks. That's why I want to go over the grassy field. Stay away from those lights. We'll come down a little lower too. This little 7-mile-per-hour wind. You got this thing just barely hovering in it. Coming around. What I want to show is, can this be a park flyer? And I think the answer to that is going to be yes. Wonderful plane. I like it. It has the power. Okay, going back to the stunt mode. Whoa. I almost hit those lights, so let's bring it down closer. It's gliding right now, about 5-10% throttle. Yeah, OPM's got something here. OMPHobby. They're a US company, although this, I've seen this available in China also, but they are selling it for about close to the same price as the Chinese websites, which is an advantage because you can get this a lot faster from them. And I don't know what the return policy is, but nice plane. I like this plane. I really, really like this plane. I hope I don't break it. It's a wonderful flyer. It's a wonderful flyer. Great beginner's plane. Let's press that button again. You don't need to know how to do flips. Just press the button or rolls. Well, you can learn how to do manual rolls. We can do manual rolls with this too, or loops. But all you need to do is press this button. Don't do it right now. We're probably getting low on battery, so I'm going to save the battery here. But again, yeah, it meant for beginners, and I think this is an excellent beginner's plane. Excellent, excellent beginner's plane. This is going to be, people are going to be talking about this one. Now, comparing this to like the A800, flies similar. Flies similar, but the A800 again doesn't have a brushless motor. This one does. And that brushless motor is not up front. Like on the 800, the 800 has the motor up front and the propeller up front. And for beginners to have that there, I don't know about that, folks, because beginners are going to crash, and a nose-in crash is definitely going to damage that motor and propeller on the 800. But this one, with the motor where it's at, it's not an issue. Look at that, going into the wind. A little bit of wind. Great plane. I like it. And I think beginners are going to like that button, that loop button. Yeah, they got a winner. This is a winner. I like it. I like it a lot. I like how it assembles, just snaps together. You don't have to mess with those push rods. You can fly it on breezy days like today in a park. Going into that wind. And you don't need a huge park either. Although I am flying it in a soccer field. Oops. Okay, there we go. We see how well this will withstand a crash. Will it withstand a crash? Okay. Now these wings again are meant to pop off. That's what it's designed to do. Look at here, no damage there. Again, all you do is pop them back in. Make sure the little slots go over the control levers. I call them control levers. Make sure it's in there, and then snap it back in place, and we should be good to go. Let me double check the battery, make sure the battery's still on the Velcro. It's good there, so we should be good to go again. No damage. Pops right back into place. Again, those wings are meant to pop off to prevent damage. Checking the throttle, and away we go. Now again, if I did that with the A800, that A800 would be damaged. Right now I can tell you though, I have to give it more and more throttle, so we're going to call it quits here shortly. I got to give it more and more throttle to keep it in the air. I'm at about 30%, before I was at 10%. But yeah, it's staying up there. It's a wonderful plane. I mean, a real wonderful plane. I've been seeing some neat planes come out lately. Oops. Okay, we're calling it quits there. Hi, Quite Copter 101 here. Actually, I might still have some more battery power. I just checked here, and the tail surface after that first crash was not fully inserted. Okay, not fully attached. It's not fully attached, but you gotta make sure that this thing is fully connected. And notice I have a little bit of upward movement here. You make sure that's in that hole. You gotta make sure it's in that hole before you close it. Okay, now I should be good to go. So let's give it one more try and see if actually we got more flight time in this than what I thought. Okay. Yeah, so we got a lot more flight time. I was wrong. It's just I had that horizontal stabilizer wasn't fully attached. So when you do go in, you do get a crash, check both the wings and that horizontal stabilizer because they can come loose. There we go. I got a lot more authority right now on the elevator than I did before. So I got a lot more flight time than that. I was wrong. Oh, I like this plane. I like how I can turn like that. Turn on a dime. You can almost, actually you probably could fly this in a gym. The way this could turn, look at that. Look at that turn. You could fly this in a gym. I'm almost positive. Although I wouldn't want to do it, because this can fly much better outside when you got a lot of room to play. Neat, neat airplane. The wind's picking up on from behind me. Trick button. It did a weird loop that time because I wasn't going straight into the wind. Let's go into the wind. Press that button. Wind is, yeah. Such a cool plane. Such a cool plane. I like it. I like being it. Oh, there we go again. I'm really pushing its envelope there in its turns. I want to see how hard a turn we can make with this. But again, just pop it back together. Double check the tail surface. Okay, we're full up right now. Why are we full up? Oh, there we go. Okay, double check that tail surface. It looks like this one here needs to be adjusted a little right there. There we go. Okay, we're good to go again. Everything's fine. Look at that, folks. Not a scratch on this thing after how many crashes have I had? And they were all my fault, of course. Try it again. Okay, the wind's died down here. Oh, there we go again. Here comes that wind again. So I was going to try some rolls in that without the wind. I don't want to fly this without the wind. I keep doing that. I got to stop. I keep trying these hard turns and eventually I stall it. There's only so much you want to do, so folks. You don't only want to turn it so many times like that because eventually it will stall. But popping it back together again. That time I did get a little chip right there, but that's it. Check the tail again. Always check the tail, like I said. Okay, I popped it back in again. Oops, this needs to be popped back into place. And we're good to go again. That was a hard one, folks. But again, still not a single scratch on this. Okay, enough monkeying around like that. I'm going to keep it flying a little more smoother now for the remainder of the flight. Checking our surfaces. And away we go. Smoother turns this time. So yeah, nice plane. Real nice beginner's plane. Real nice beginner's plane. So yeah, I think even beginner flyers can fly this aileron plane. It's easy. Just don't do weird stuff like I was doing there until you really feel confident with it. Now, again, this is its maiden flight here, and I'm pushing its limit on its maiden flight there with in its stabilized mode. But it eventually will stall if you give it too hard of a turn and too many of those hard turns. So keep that in mind. But it's got a long flight time. Let's go down this way, turn it around. You got buffeted there by the wind. Ah, I guess this battery's getting too low to do those tricks right now. Manual loop. Coming around. Coming around. Yeah, that breeze is hitting that thing. Coming down, reducing throttle. Going overhead. Let's keep it real close, so you can see it. Oh. Okay, it's getting wobbly there. Something was wrong there. Let's see what happened here. One of the connections is loose. Hold on. We'll find what that is. Probably from all the yanking and banking. And there's one thing I want to show you is how to reset its gyros in case they need to be reset. But let's check here. Yeah, the wings have popped out a bit from all the yanking and banking. I got a little bit wobbly there. Okay, popping them back in place. Back end's good. Let's try this again. And away we go. Wonderful plane. Now as you progress, remember to apply a little rudder with that, and you can even get harder turns with this airplane. A little rudder with your turn. There we go again. I'm doing these real hard turns just to see where's it going to stall, and there we go again. Pop the wings back on. They're still holding. Thank goodness. So, away we go again. Okay, the remainder of the flight, let's see if I can keep it in the air without crashing it. Oh, let me double check the back. Okay, good. We'll take it up higher for the remainder of the flight, just to keep it in the air. Great plane though. Wonderful. 720. T720. Great trainer for 4-channel. And a long flyer, as we can see here. I'm pushing it again. Only this time I'm keeping it up higher while I push it. Give me a little room there to try to regain if I do stall it. Yeah, see? So, T720. Well, I'm not sure how long this battery lasts. They say 15 minutes. They might be true, or it might be true. I've been flying it for a while. You could probably go a lot longer if you're soaring this. This will easily soar, folks. It's a nice glider. It should easily soar if you're into that. Go into manual mode there. I want to see how it stabilizes in manual mode. If I let go of the sticks, yeah, it stabilizes. I had to do that. I had to do that in front of you folks. So, that was a manual loop. Well, a long, long flyer. Going upwind, and then turning the downwind, give a little more throttle to come downwind. And then cutting the throttle as soon as it gets some speed here, gliding it by. Adding the throttle again, turning it. Stalling it again, doing those hard turns. I'll learn, folks, with this one. You don't want to do, you know, this can do hard turns, but you get used to them, and then after a while you will stall them. It will stall. There's only so much it can do in those turns, especially with this wind at my back here. When it goes into the wind and out of the wind, into the wind and back downwind, it can get a little goofy. Let me check my surfaces. They're good again. That wind's picking up again. So if you're on windy days, do gentle turns. I'm going to start doing what I keep preaching, keeping it gentle into the wind. Into the wind. Get some altitude too. Then some throttle to turn downwind. And then some throttle in the turn. You can fly on a windy day, but you can stall it. Just in case you're wondering, it is, you can't stall this plane. There's only so much that stabilization system can do. So keep that in mind, especially on a windy day like today, when you're going in and out of the wind. It's being buffeted right now. But not everybody has, oh, the motor just cut out. So I guess it automatically cuts out. Look, it's gliding on down here. It automatically cuts out when you reach a certain voltage level, so it has a low voltage cutout. That's interesting in itself, folks. I did not know that. I'll put up here what the residual voltage is. I'll measure it when I get home. But that is its flight time. So that's its total flight time because it cut out. Although I give it more throttle, I don't think I should continue flying because that was its cutout. So I hope you enjoyed this flight of the T720 by OMPHobby.com. U.S. importer, I guess, or I don't know if they're manufacturing this because I've seen the T720 sold elsewhere too, but it's being sold for about the same price as where I've seen it elsewhere. So you can get this from a U.S. If you're in the USA, you can get this shipped to you pretty quickly. So hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101. Signing out. Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.